How's it, guys? And welcome to Cult Action Reviews, where we look at the weird, the wonderful, and the downright terrible of the action film universe. Today, I've got a doozy for you. I've got Roughcut from 1994, directed by, starring, edited by, post-produced by, produced by, oh, he did everything on this film, Sean P. Donahue, a 90s stuntman and action star who starred in a lot of these kind of films. Now, the idea of a stuntman directing a film isn't actually a bad one, because we've seen with movies like John Wick how well stuntmen can do when they direct an action film. If there's one thing they know, it's action. And if you look at people like Jackie Chan and other Hong Kong cinema, you can see how well stuntmen can direct fight scenes, bus chases, and madly exciting stunts. Unfortunately, that's not the case with Roughcut. Roughcut is a whole other beast. We start as we mean to go on, pretty badly. They must have paid a lot for these shiny, flashy titles, but the rest of it is just this panning shot over diamonds, I suppose, which is where the name comes from and is the main MacGuffin of the film. Now this right here, this establishing shot, there are a lot of drinking games you can play with this film, and the first one is to take a shot every time this establishing shot pops up. I've seen the outside of this house so many times that it's driving me mad. It is imprinted on my brain. We then go into this standard 90s rich people party, which if you've seen any of these films, you've seen this a million times. Beautiful people mill around, there's diamond necklaces, there's champagne, there's hors d'oeuvres. They just do the things that people who made this film think rich people do. This scene serves no purpose except to introduce us to our bad guy, Richard Lynch. And if you've seen a lot of these kind of movies, you know who Richard Lynch is. This guy started acting in the 70s, and he made a huge career for himself as a cult movie actor, most famously as a bad guy. He's also the only actual actor in this film. We then smash cut to action, violence, excitement, a great car chase being filmed. Except it's not great. Here we're introduced to Lynch's henchman, his left hand and right hand man. These two guys. The guy with the knife is played by Sean P. Donahue's brother. And here's another drinking game you can play. Every time you hear this sound, when he flips the knife, take a shot. But don't do it with hard alcohol. Do it with beer or something, because if you did it with hard alcohol, you'd be dead by the end of the film. I'm not kidding. A lot of these sound effects are just reused over and over again. I assume what Sean did, because he's the one who did the sound for this film, is he went to a sound effects library and just picked ones that he thought he could use, and he only picked one for each sound effect. So the reason for all this wannabe John Woo stuff is because this dude stole a bag of diamonds from our main baddie, and our main baddie wants them back. And I just summarized the plot of this entire movie. I particularly like this scene because you can't actually tell what the guys are saying. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sean P. Donahue. Yes, he's the one with the mullet. Because in the early 90s, you had to have this epic a mullet to be a hero. Sean's inexperience as a director and editor really shows here. We get lots of intercut shots of the dude running, Lynch arriving, the dude running, and the two idiots being bad at hunting.
Where is he?
If you think him shouting, "Where is he?" at the deer that's right in front of him is stupid, Just you wait and see how much worse this character gets.
Let's go.
Garrett, what was that?
Sound like a man's scream.
Of course it was a man screaming. What else would it be? More running. Just what we needed to see in this terrible film. Now we get to establish Lynch as the big bad guy. And I shit you not, he has the only good one-liner in the film, which is right here.
Please don't. You got no heart. No!
I told you he got dumber. I do want you to note Lynch picking up the bag here. Pay attention to him holding it in that hand. I promise this is going to come in handy later. I know you're not always going to be able to get the perfect location to shoot your movie, but them trying to make a flat piece of ground seem like a steep cliff. It doesn't come off well. They could have at least tilted the camera a little bit. And if you notice, for the next 5 or 10 minutes, you're gonna have the sound of eagles over and over and over again. Another sound effect from that sound effects library that Sean just had to take. Just let go of the branch, Paulie. You're not that far away from the ground. I love how the bad guys just happen to bring abseiling equipment with them. Establishing your hero as the ultimate badass is paramount in action films. That's why action films usually start by showing the hero breaking up a fight, usually in a convenience store. They usually kick the snot out of the baddies and come away victorious. When I show you this fight scene, I want you to remember that this is the first fight scene that the hero is involved in this film. Yeah, this wasn't well choreographed. Look at how he snaps his neck by reaching behind him and just sort of willing it to happen.
Tie yourself up, man.
You want me to do what?
Tie yourself up. We have to rappel down. Come on.
Ah yes, that's right. Tie yourself to the rope that goes up to where the bad guys are. Great decision.
Move it!
Who could have seen this coming? If only they'd known that the rope was put down by the bad guys.
What?
Do you see why I told you to notice where Lynch was holding that bag of diamonds? I think it's the fact that the fall seems like a Three Stooges kind of slapstick thing, but this has no emotional weight at all. It could also be because Paulie's actor was terrible. Don't you hate it when you're dead and you have to get more comfortable?
Take the truck down there, bring him back to me.
Our hero grabs the diamonds and makes a run for it. On the way, there's this incredibly silly looking fight scene where he swings out of a tree like Tarzan, takes one guy out, and then manages to use the rope that he got from somewhere to take out the other guy. Man, they put a lot of sand in the trunk of that car to make that look impressive. Now we get Kane going back to his lair, I guess you'd say. There's an establishing shot again, by the way. And this scene doesn't mean anything. I think it's supposed to set up that Kane has people that he answers to, so that's why he needs the diamonds so much. But trust me, the payoff for this is not worth it in the slightest. Be careful with those shots. Another scene with all the emotional weight of limp spaghetti landing on your face. we have Paulie's funeral, attended by not many people. So nobody liked this guy, not just me. And we also have Paulie's dad, an alcoholic ex-cop. Another thing we have here is the cop showing up to do the typical cops can't find evidence of the crime thing. But you mean to tell me that Richard Lynch and his cronies cleaned up everything? The blood, the multiple shell casings, the bullet holes that must have been in all the trees around there, the glass from the cars getting smashed into. These guys just walked around with a Dyson and hoovered it all up. Really? And here's another scene that shows what a jackass our hero is. We found out later that he didn't actually give the diamonds to the cops. So when the cop is saying we have no evidence, all he has to do is produce the bag of stolen diamonds.
This is why Polly's dead.
Baffling to me why he doesn't, except that he's a greedy scumbag who wants to keep all the diamonds. The diamonds that are wanted by a complete psychopath who killed 2 people in front of our hero, including the hero's best friend, who they are now burying right here in the ground. He's standing next to the guy's father, the grieving alcoholic father.
I got a bad feeling.
Of course you got a bad feeling, you dick. You've got literally the one thing the bad guy wants. And now we're into another glorious fight scene. And more reused sound effects. Listen as the car rides over the graves. Did you hear it? Yeah. Same sound, multiple times in a row. Also, the bad guys are probably dumber than the hero. Instead of just walking up to him and shooting him, they attack him in broad daylight for some reason at his friend's funeral and shoot the friend's dad who has nothing to do with any of this. What are they doing? The cops are right there! Now we have another series of pointless scenes that serve no purpose. Well, I suppose they do have 2 purposes. The first is to introduce this guy, the hero's best friend apparently, who's a cop. And the second is to get some cheap nudity, some titillation, if you will. Although, fun fact, no actress in this film appears doing full frontal nudity. I'm assuming because Sean couldn't pay them enough to do that. So we get a lot of backside shots, but no boobs. Oh man, this film is tedious. We get more scenes that don't mean anything, and we're entering a long stretch where the hero just doesn't appear. The cop from earlier, yeah, because he's such a well-developed character, he appears, and Sean's friend as well. And we get one of the funniest friggin' action scenes in the entire film. These really are the world's most useless bad guys. I think it's a combination of the same sound effect being used over and over and their complete ineptitude that makes this seem like a Three Stooges sketch. That is not how you break shatterproof glass. My precious.
Freeze!
Who would have guessed running out into the open, shooting while people are shooting at you would result in you getting shot. Now we have the cop rightfully asking the friend what's going on, because keep in mind, the diamonds are still hidden from him. And this scene, like a lot of other scenes in this movie, goes absolutely nowhere and serves no friggin' purpose other than to bore my friggin' tits off. Although the cop's half-hearted tantrum is pretty funny. Man, don't you love the voyeuristic sexism of the 90s? So much fun. And here we have another new character, but this one actually serves a purpose in the film. Unfortunately, that purpose is damsel in distress. It's stamped so large on her forehead, you can see it from space. She's also the sister of Paulie and the love interest of our hero. Although you can be forgiven for missing that Because they have all the chemistry of a soggy piece of wood in a pond.
Hello, Garrett.
You're a little late, aren't you?
I just came from the cemetery. I didn't know I'd feel so bad, you know.
Oh, she was visiting her brother's grave. And you don't apologize for calling her late? Man, this dude is so terrible. Now we get more sequences of scenes that don't mean anything. There's a lot of Richard Lynch shouting at people. I'm assuming when they hired him, they could only get him for a couple of days. So they kept him in the same location, filmed all the scenes with him quickly over maybe 1 or 2 days, and then let him go home. Because he doesn't actually leave this house for almost the entirety of the film.
These are his 2 right-hand men. This guy right here, that's Luke. The guy with the knife they call Blade.
Here we have the hero learning about the bad guys. Can't you just feel the emotion in every movement of his facial muscles?
And take a look at this one. Garrett?
Our hero sets up his brilliant plan to catch the bad guys. This is the first step in it. And the payoff for this, it is something else, let me tell you. As with all bad 90s action movies and passion projects on the level of Neil Breen and Tommy Wiseau, we have a scene of the hero having sex. Oh man, I'm not gonna torture you with this, but it is the most boring love scene ever. It is really tame because, again, I don't think they could get the actress to do full frontal nudity. So we just have some kissing and rubbing about on each other. I think the lack of chemistry is what makes it so absolutely terrible. If you want to see this love scene in your head, get 2 Barbie dolls and just rub them together. Oh right, the bad guys are looking for Sean. And now when I first saw this, and this is because it's so badly shot, I thought the bad guys saw him leaving his house and getting into the car and then got out of their car. But no, they were actually on a road around the corner. And why didn't they just block off the driveway? Why are they letting him get away? He's right there. Block off the driveway, shoot him, go into his house and search for the friggin' diamonds. What's your problem? No, jeez, my voice just broke there. Sorry about that. Here we get an example of the uselessness of our hero again. He realizes that he's being followed, so he takes the bad guys to a restaurant, a public restaurant, with kids in it. And this happens.
You ready to order?
I seem to have dropped my fork.
Man, this fight scene is so terribly choreographed, it's actually friggin' hilarious. But a lot of innocent people get hurt here. You'll see random passers-by jump into frame and start fights with the bad guys to try and put them down or something, and they just get killed, murdered. And this is all the hero's fault. All of this is adding to his body count. Here's another drinking game. Every time someone dies as a direct result of the hero's actions, and that person didn't deserve it, take a shot. Again, no hard alcohol.
I think you're gonna want your food to go. Why?
People are dead, you know. Another example of the hero being a useless jackass. He gets kicked off the balcony, lands in a heap, and his girlfriend has to save him. Our hero, everybody. Brilliant! How many people died in that restaurant, you useless sod? You didn't even take down any of the bad guys. They're still there, they're still after you. Just give them the friggin' diamonds, you fool! If he did, none of this would be happening. But no, he's got to keep the diamonds. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, and just to compound what a dick he is, we have this scene.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
You need to stay out of Marta's got to.
I don't really care. This is my brother we're talking about.
It's too late for your brother.
And now we have another highlight, a hilarious fight scene with a lot of nut grabbing. But again, why do the bad guys walk away here? All they have to do is kill him, take the diamonds, they're in the house somewhere, I think. Come on, man. You mean to tell me they didn't look in the fridge? They're not even hidden in like an ice cream tub or something. They're in the bag in the fridge. You see what I mean when I say the bad guys are useless? The hero is useless and a dick. Everybody in this film is an inept nincompoop. And that's the reason it goes on for as long as it does. And trust me, when you're watching this hour 40-minute film will seem like a friggin' eternity. Until of course the fight scenes show up, because those are funny because they're so friggin' terrible. I can't believe stuntmen worked on this film. Surely someone in California where they shot this could have taught them some martial arts move. Surely there was a dojo somewhere they could just go in and ask, can you just teach us some kicks or something? Now we have this random cameo from this radio DJ guy. Maybe you guys know him. But Sean basically takes advantage of his friend to set up the next step in his brilliant plan to lure the bad guys to him. And trust me, the payoff for this is going to be so good, you will just automatically turn round on this character.
Not until you went to jail as you save at Diamonds, where we've got millions of dollars in inventory of loose and exotic stones ready to move. You hear that? Unheard of low prices. Yeah.
Also, I love this. This plan is so brilliant. Sean somehow knew that these bad guys would be listening to this specific radio station, hear this specific advertisement, and then go to their boss and say, hey, since we still haven't got the diamonds back from the guy that we know has the diamonds, even though we know where he lives, where he's going, who his girlfriend is, etc., etc., maybe we should rob this diamond place because this radio ad says they have millions of dollars worth. Brilliant! Absolutely brilliant. Sun Tzu would be proud. Now we have another 10 or so minutes of scenes that serve a purpose but are so boring you don't really want to watch them. Basically, the bad guys convince their boss that they're going to rob this other diamond place, and somehow Sean has rented or bought this building. He's got the money anyway to buy it. I don't know where he gets this money from, but okay. And he's convinced his friend to help him out here, and they're going to store the real, actual diamonds in this place where the bad guys are coming. And this is where this plan starts to go dramatically wrong. And it's going to get worse. Trust me. The grand payoff of the bad guy being pressured by the other bad guy to give him money or something. And it also sets up this woman as a complete badass. And she's Lynch's love interest or hanger-on, I suppose. He seems to genuinely care for her. This sets up as a badass that'll be fought later in the movie. But after this scene, she never appears again. These guys aren't mentioned again. I don't understand why she disappears from the movie. Oh, wait. They couldn't pay her anymore, could they? And now we have the culmination of the hero's brilliant plan. I've never robbed a store before, but I assume if you just have to pull out the plug of the security system, wouldn't that be suspicious at all? Ah yes, you made your face a little blurrier. Notice the outside here. It's broad daylight. They are robbing a building in broad daylight with all glass around the outside so anybody can see in. World's dumbest bad guys. And that just makes what happens next even stupider. And now we have another hilariously badly thought out and choreographed fight scene. It's absolutely terrible. But we do get to see the end result of the hero's brilliant plan. Remember, he set this trap up to catch all these bad guys, to get them once and for all and put them down. And what happens? Well, his best friend gets killed, the diamonds get stolen, and his girlfriend gets kidnapped. This guy is a fucking idiot. And now onto the big climax. With half an hour left in this film, this climax provides some of the funniest moments. Notice how the shotgun cocks itself when it falls. He just threw his gun up to hit the guy in the head. This guy is a master martial artist.
Go ahead, shoot. Peel her like an orange.
Just shoot him. He's right there. It's a knife. But no, he doesn't shoot him. And now we have the funniest fight scene in the whole movie. Notice how he kicks at the knife, misses it, and then the bad guy stabs himself in the chest. Although we don't get to know because it's incredibly badly shot, and he's dead. Brilliant. The bad guys just kill themselves. Well, with a hero this useless, I'm not surprised. When I first saw this, and I saw that the final battle was going to happen at a construction site, I actually had a little bit of hope that this film might liven up towards the end, because a construction site is a brilliant place for a fight scene. Just think of Lethal Weapon. That was brilliant, but this film doesn't have that imagination. What we have is bad guys wandering around aimlessly, the good guy wandering around aimlessly, they bump into each other, have a bit of a fight, it's terrible. And then we have the fight with the main henchman, also terrible. Hero gets kicked down some stairs.
You know, your friend Paulie's got a really cute scream.
They talk about the scream that's also been used about 6 or 7 times in this movie. And then we get the hero and Lynch having a face-off. I don't know why Lynch ran out of bullets. He wasn't shooting at any point. Lynch gets kicked off a building. The hero doesn't leave the woman to die, which I thought he would, quite honestly, the amount of times he's been useful in this film. And he gets to live happily ever after in paradise. With the diamonds. If our hero had just given the diamonds to the cop that also disappeared out the movie, none of this death, none of this destruction would have happened. No innocent people would have gotten hurt at all if this idiot had just given the diamonds to the cops and stopped Lynch's pursuit of him. His friend, the cop, not the one that got killed at the beginning, he would still be alive. The girlfriend wouldn't need therapy for the rest of her friggin' life, and innocent people would not have gotten hurt. All this death is Sean P. Donahue's fault.
You're a little late, aren't you?
Now, while I respect the time, effort, money, and everything else that went into making this film, I've got to say, it really does commit a few unforgivable action movie sins. The hero's a dick for one, the fights are terrible, the stunts are subpar, nothing is filmed right, and there's just no charisma anywhere in the film. Even the only actor in the film, Richard Lynch, just gets to shout a bit. He's not really acting. So the effort here is clear, but it just didn't work out. It's too much of a vanity project, and at times it's just way too friggin' boring for words. And that's Roughcut. Bad example of 90s action, but has some quite entertaining moments, namely the fight scenes and any drinking games you can get out of it. If you like this video, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Leave a like or a dislike or whatever you want to do. I'm new to this whole YouTube game, and I want to do many more videos like this covering many more action films. I'm going to release a video once every 2 weeks on a Friday, and you'll see as the content comes out. Let me know if you like it, if you didn't like it, what I could improve on, that kind of thing. I hope you enjoyed this, and it means a lot to me that you watched it. So peace out guys, and enjoy action films, eh?
Don't worry about it.